Now, another huge problem that we have watched unfold over the weeks and months and in the newspapers and on TV, it's over the jail issue. And, you know, a lot of the problem, and I told this the other night, if you're sick, you don't go to an auto mechanic, and if your car is tore up, you don't take it to a brain surgeon. And law enforcement has become somewhat specialized in certain areas. The problem, or one of the problems with the current sheriff is, in my opinion, he don't know what he's doing with the jail. He don't know what he's doing with contracts. He don't know what he's doing with the money situation. And in my opinion, that goes back to the leadership and who you put in those positions. Well, I met a man about 2 years ago up in Mentone. To be quite honest with you, I thought he was just a stump grinder. Got to talking to him a little bit, and I found out he is a retired United States Deputy Marshal. And this was long before I ever thought about entering a sheriff's race. I got to know Mike pretty well. I see him occasionally. And when I qualified, Mike came to me and he said, you know, I'd like to help in some way, if you know, with the campaign. And we talked more, and we got to talking about the federal inmate issue. And you know, Mike has such an extensive resume that I certainly can't memorize it. But basically, he started his career right here in DeKalb County, Alabama, as a deputy sheriff investigator for Sheriff Harold Richards. He went on to join the Marshal Service, stayed with him until his retirement. During this time, he rose through the ranks of the Marshal Service and was a supervisor and a chief deputy United States Marshal. But what I'm getting at, and this is where it benefits each and every one of you in DeKalb County, this man was responsible for putting federal inmates in county jails in several states. I think he told me up to 20 jails. In the Middle District of Tennessee, I think he told me at one time he was putting federal inmates in county jails up there. So this man knows the proper way to do it. He knows the way to do it. He knows the way to follow the rules. And he knows the way to not break the law. You see, the federal inmate program, if it's administered correctly, would be a big benefit to you, the taxpayers of DeKalb County, because it takes a huge burden off of you to help operate that jail. And it also helps the sheriff with a discretionary fund. But you got to have that sheriff that's willing to sit down and work with that county commission and do what he says he'll do or what he's supposed to do. So I'd like for my choice as Chief Jail Administrator and a man that'll make all of you in DeKalb County very proud, Mike Felder. If you'd come up and say a few words.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me be here this evening with you guys. Lamar did a good job of outlining my background. I did start here as a deputy sheriff in 1979, in spite of the accent that I don't have. Someone once told me that the federal government must have taken it out of me, and that's about the only thing that I can attribute that to. I worked all over the United States, border to border, coast to coast, in a variety of sets of responsibilities, to include being a supervisor and chief deputy. I spent 2 years at headquarters in Washington, D.C. as an internal affairs inspector, traveling all over the United States, investigating allegations of criminal misconduct or personal misconduct on the part of employees and contractors. And following that, when I went to the District of Kansas, where I worked as a supervisor and as a chief deputy, and then closed out my career in Nashville, Tennessee, in the Middle District there as the lone supervisory deputy, with a full range of responsibilities there to include managing inmates. On the average in Nashville, our average daily count was somewhere in the neighborhood of 300. That's a lot of people to take care of, from the hardest core criminal that you can imagine to people who had never been inside the criminal justice system ever. And my job was to see to it that they got where they needed to be, when they needed to be there, that they were taken care of in the jails, the county jails, because the Marshal Service doesn't have jail facilities. We contract with counties or with private jail facilities. And in order to make that work, you have to communicate with the people that you're working with. And that was part of my responsibilities, to work with the jail administrators or the command staff in the jails to make decisions on who would go where, what their needs were with respect to medical issues, attorney issues, security issues, a whole wide range of things that a lot of people generally don't think about when they think about people having to spend time in jail. The other part of that is working with county officials, both at the Sheriff's Department as well as on the commission level, to get contracts negotiated that were beneficial to everybody. Beneficial to the Marshal Service, as well as to the communities where these jails were located and these prisoners were being housed. That's what I bring to the mix. That's what I can help Lamar do. That's what I can help Ron do with the Sheriff's Department. And that's what I can help the folks in the community with, is to make this something that is profitable for everyone, something that people can be proud of and stand up and say, look what our Sheriff's Department is doing, in concert with what these men are doing in their program areas. And as Ron pointed out to you when he was up here, if you don't like the work that we've done for you, then in 4 years, tell us to leave. But I think that these men have demonstrated that they're dedicated to what they're wanting to do and how they want to do it. And I believe that the citizens of DeKalb County are ready and wanting to change in the way the Sheriff's Department behaves and treats them and represents the community. And I think this is your choice. And I hope that you guys will do everything that you can to help make that happen. Thank you.